4 and we both had been at a senior level. So we did benefit from having worked for a business where we'd opened practices in the past. So we'd been on a senior management team where we had been part of the team that had managed the opening of a practice. Now, my aspect of that was literally the clinical thing, but I know exactly what size in meters and centimeters a test room has to be for it to work, because I've seen plans and been involved in doing all of those things. So that really helped. And then it was just sitting down with a big bit of paper and kind of going, right, what is it we need? How do we want it to look? A friend of a friend did the drawings for us. So we kind of said, well, we knew the size of the unit. I knew the size what the test room had to be. So we drew it all out, and he put the drawings together. And then it was just, from there, just one after the other. The difficult thing is wasn't for me knowing what we needed. I think it was quite clear everything that we needed. The real difficult thing was doing it at the right time, in a short space of time where there was this overlap. So, for example, Evelyn's husband had to have the stud walls up. They had to be plastered. The plaster had to dry. They then had to be painted, and one of them papered, and all the woodwork painted before the carpets could go in. But the carpets had to be in before all the clinical equipment was arriving. And as I say, there was 3 different companies, each with a big van, and I wanted them in on different days so that physically, you get this stuff in. And you think about, the chair that you sit in when you go to get your eyes tested, that is all one big unit with the table attached. It's huge. And that had to come in, and I had a phone call with Evelyn. We were right in the middle of it, and she was organising the carpet fitters, and I'd said to her, right, when's the carpet fitter coming? And she said something like, we'll get them in on Tuesday morning. And I said, we can't, because the equipment's arriving on Monday. So the carpet has to be down. So there was a phone call. We did find a carpet fitter who said, I'll come in at 7 o'clock in the morning. And they were absolutely brilliant. People are, I think, if you explain what you need and work with people and try and be a bit flexible, then people were on the whole really good. Our painter and decorator was fantastic. He just worked around people as he went. He just stepped over things and went into another corner. I'll just paint this bit here while they were over working there. And people were really, really good that we worked with. So we had a really good team doing it together.
Well, and you got it all done, and you opened for, on time for when you planned. So can you tell us a little bit about how you built up your clientele as a brand new business? How did you get those first people through the door?
Okay. So the very first person through the door was a patient that I have been looking after for, I don't know, a decade at least, I would say. So I had worked in practice for, 20 years in the same business and had been looking after patients. So some of those found me. We did some advertising, we did some local advertising, and got some, a lot of the advertising had my face on it, because that would be, they would recognize me. So if people had seen me, they would go, oh, there she is, and go and come and find me. But I think most of the clientele that we have are people who live locally, people who, there's lots of families, there's lots of kids need eye care. And I think in building up the clientele, I think we probably spent more on marketing than we initially expected to. How effective it's been, it's very difficult to measure. And I think really the most effective marketing for us has been word of mouth. And it's just that, as a new business, that can be quite slow. So you want to sort of speed that up. And, we've had students leafleting out in the street and everything. And we just try and do everything that we can. The local school approached us to sponsor, give a prize for their Christmas raffle. So we did that. Anything that we can get involved in, we do those little things. And I think it's just going to take time. We're not there yet. Year one and plus a pandemic hasn't been ideal. But it's going to take time. I think 3 years is probably the time it's going to take us to get to exactly where we want to be. So it's just holding firm and keeping going. Meantime, I think.
Well, and I think if you can survive a pandemic in your first year of business. Not a lot of people can say that they've experienced that. So I think if you can make it through this, you can make it through anything. Can you talk us through a little bit about what lockdown has meant for you and sort of how you've adapted and how you're planning on adapting for the future?
Yeah, so yes. So lockdown for us has meant closing our doors. We've had to close our doors. So within eye care, because there's a medical aspect of it, people need access to emergency eye care. There are lots of things with eyes that need attention ASAP. So I've got my phone number on our answer phone, and we've got notices in the window, and we've active on social media and on our website that, you know, if somebody has a problem, this is who to contact. So I manage things from home, essentially. So some days I don't get any phone calls, and other days, yesterday there was 3 different people that, you know, I was helping. Sometimes we do video chats and phone chats so as I can kind of look at their eyes, and then I can also refer them into the hospital. I'm not physically allowed to see them, but I can refer them into the hospital. So you can look after them, so you can maintain your patient base and your ability within the community to look after the people there by doing that. We are going to obviously move and change a little bit in the next couple of weeks. So by the 29th, we will be open, but it'll be a locked door, appointment only, 1 in, 1 out situation to just try and maintain that. And I think we're quite well set up for that because we're a small business. We're not a business that's got 8 different opticians all working at the same time and 20 people in a waiting area all queuing up waiting for an eye test. So I think we can easily look after people safely. I've got scrubs now, face masks and visors and all sorts of things that I didn't think I was going to have. But yeah, so we can do that. But as a business, it's been challenging, certainly. And I would say that we've had, our landlord has been excellent. You know, I contacted them quite early on when you could see what was happening, and they've been really, really helpful. And our major suppliers, our major bills that went out on a monthly basis, we were very proactive in communicating with them all. So we've had payment holidays from some and things like that. So to allow you to kind of continue and just almost kind of breathe in and stop for a while until you can pick it back up. I think the challenge for us now is how quickly it picks back up. There's going to be 3.5 months where people have not been able to access any eye care. So the sensible part of you would think, well, there's probably lots of people out there who are desperate to come and see you. So hopefully it might come quicker, but that's going to be the difficult thing.
I think this is the really tough thing. And I mean, I think it's amazing that you found a way that you can still be there and provide the healthcare part of your service to people, because you're right, just because it's a pandemic, you know, people don't stop having issues with their health. So that's great that you've been able to sort of still consult with people. And I never even thought of that, but yeah, Zoom call, you're able to see the person you're talking to. So you might be able to get an idea of if they need emergency care.
People say all sorts of things, like they go, oh, I've got a black bit in my eye, and you're thinking, is it are you seeing something black, or is it black on the surface of your eye, or is this in your vision, or is it, you know? So actually a video call is really helpful in trying to sort that out. Some people, a lot of the patients are elderly, because as we get older we get more eye problems, so sometimes they go, oh, I don't know how to do that, so you have to work around it. But photographs can be helpful as well, so it is useful. I mean, we could have not done that. We could have just closed the doors and gone dark for this time and just, you know, sort of left it, but it just didn't feel right to me. I can't expect a community to support us as a business if we weren't there to support them when they needed us. So that was a very strong feeling to me, and I just thought, no, I have to be around and be available when I'm needed. And it's worked really quite well. The hospital have been excellent. So the hospital run the emergency centre in Glasgow. So, you know, I can phone them, as I did yesterday, saying, well, I've got a patient, this is the history, you know, and they'll see that patient if the patient needs to be seen. So it really, you want to feel part of the community, and you want to feel that, you know, they know that they can come to us and will continue to come to us after that, that we were there for them.
I think this lockdown and the pandemic has really shown the true colors, both of people as individuals and as businesses. And you're seeing the businesses that truly care about the community. As you're saying, you had this strong feeling that you needed to still be there and show up for people. And you're seeing that, and you're seeing the businesses that treat their staff, you know, as well as they can. Obviously, this is really tough on businesses, and you're seeing all of this. And I think people will remember that. I think that they'll remember which businesses, you know, really held strong and did everything they could to be there for them, and which ones just kind of retreated into a corner or took the easy way out. So I would like to think that will work in your favor from a business sense, as well as, you know, you obviously feeling good about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I would really like to think that, you know, this situation, I think makes a lot of us reassess, or has made a lot of us reassess our life, certainly myself included. You know, I mean, just a simple thing, you know, you come out 3 months down the line and you think, look how little I've spent in 3 months. Look how much I must spend, you know, going out eating with friends and drinking with friends. You know, what's actually, you know, what is important? What do I need? What's my core things to live? And I would hope that, you know, in that I've tried to support those businesses where I feel that affinity, and I would hope other people will do that as well. I've long, you know, obviously we all do it. We go to, you know, kind of shopping centres and things. It's easier, and, you know, you've got out of town parking and you can go and you've got everything in one place. But I've long sort of felt it's slightly faceless. You know, they all look the same. They've all got the same shops in them. And, you know, if anything comes of this, hopefully those, you know, sort of communities will grow and get stronger around those businesses that, you know, are there within the communities, rather than leaving and going elsewhere. So that would be my hope. But
yeah, and I think that's some good that's maybe come out of this as well. So I think a lot of it has to do with how you're brought up, and certain things. Like, my mum was always very much a champion of small businesses. She was very much, you know, we would never go to McDonald's or a Pizza Hut or chain restaurants. It was always trying to support the little guy. And I think, as much as when I was a kid, I would get annoyed by that bit, but everybody else gets to go to McDonald's, or everybody else gets to go here, kind of thing. I think that really stuck with me even before I had my own business. And, you know, I'm not going to lie and say I never shop at a chain shop, or I never stop at Starbucks for a coffee. Of course I do, but I try and make an effort to support local where I can. And I know a lot of other people that feel the same way, but I also think there are people that maybe went to those chain restaurants and chain shops and, you know, big opticians and things like that just out of habit. Maybe their parents did that, maybe it's convenient, and never really thought that there was another option. And I think that this pandemic has made people more aware of small local businesses, and hopefully some of these people will continue to support them, and those shopping habits will have changed long term.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what it is. You know, you go somewhere for convenience or out of habit, and unless you've seen something else, then you don't necessarily know that the other thing is more to your, not better, but it's more to, you know, what you want. And as I say, as an employee working in different environments and within the same business, from a sort of a family run to a much bigger, more sort of corporate environment, there's quite a difference. And I think there's a difference from a customer's point of view as well. So yeah. I always go back to when you're getting your eyes tested. It's quite intimate. You know, you're very much in somebody's personal space. And a lot of people are, you know, get quite anxious about getting their eyes tested. Some people, I always ask why, and some people are scared that you're going to find something wrong with them because they're aware that, you know, eye tests can show up so much. And other people think, oh, I'm going to give you the wrong answers, and then, you know, I'll get the wrong glasses. And there's all sorts of anxieties around it. And I think, you know, having a rapport with somebody and kind of really getting to know them can only help. If I felt that I had to go in and, you know, it's even from, if I think about a GP, if I had to go and see a different GP every time I went to the doctor and start all over again, you just don't feel you've got the same relationship. And I just think that's what I kind of value more than anything, and that's what I want to give, as well as receive for myself. So